Ravens beat the Falcons 17-9. If you missed the game, you didn't really miss anything. Me and Raj always say during the post-game show, you don't miss anything with the Ravens games. They're kind of predictable. They're kind of boring. They're kind of lackluster, not exciting. But they're heading to the playoffs. Raj, you want to kind of recap what we talked about on Christmas Eve and how you feel? And the poll is up. Can the Ravens make a deep playoff run? Raj, you actually are pretty optimistic, though.
Um, like I said before on Saturday, I think they can. But it depends on a couple factors. Depends on Lamar's attitude and if he's healthy enough to get out there and play. I think he can definitely showcase his skills in the postseason. Since everybody says he only has one playoff win, I think he can add maybe one or two more to his resume. Um, Possibly earn a little bit more money from the organization if he plays extremely well, and lead this team to a divisional or AFC championship game. I have a lot of faith in Lamar Jackson. I think he can get it done. I don't think he was the actual problem this year. It's more so the five losses were on the defensive end of the field. But yeah, I think this team can go all the way if they really want to. Like I said before, I mean we trashed on them a lot this season because of these losses and the way that they lost. But a lot of the times, like I said before, they had double digit leads and they were just blowing them away. So if they can figure out how to not blow them away and get the lead again and could get on a hot streak these next 2 to 3 games, they have a real legit shot of beating a lot of these teams. But the game this weekend, it was your typical Ravens game. The backup quarterback comes in, manages the game, doesn't make too many mistakes. The running game gets going. Greg Roman's calling some stupid plays at times as well, doing what he does best. Um, Sammy Watkins is back. He catches one ball for 40 yards, which is great. Andrews only had like 2 catches for like 33 yards, I think. And Demarcus Robinson, surprise, he's catching the ball again for a touchdown, which was since week 3 since we caught a touchdown pass, wide receiver wise. But yeah, man, this team, yeah, they're boring, yeah, they're predictable. They've been that way for years, and it's the same Greg Roman system. But we do know one thing that they do very well, and is they play defense, and they run the football. So, like they said before, you need to run the football in these times of the month, especially in January and in February. You need to run the football heavily because of the weather, and they do that very, very well. Let's just see who steps up at the wide receiver position. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully Lamar is healthy and we can make a run. But yeah, that there's a lot of things that's going on for the Ravens this season, man. So a lot of things are riding on this playoff push. I'm praying that we can at least win one game in the playoffs, maybe one. But but yeah, man, I'm optimistic though. I'm very optimistic. I've been a little bit down because of all the news about Lamar Jackson and the contract situations and a bunch of other things that's been going on with the organization. But well, media wise, they've been getting killed because of the lack of talent that we have. But I think that they can actually overturn a lot of this stuff. And hopefully going into the off season, please listen to the fan base. There's a lot of trolls out there that want to see Lamar gone, but there's a lot of people like myself and the people on this panel that want to see him stay in Baltimore. So I'm praying that they actually get it right, give him the money that he so deserves, or at least partly, they get there. They can come to a negotiation, and then we can build this thing the right way. Because I would hate to start over again. I mean, just making the playoffs is a beautiful thing. All right, that is a beautiful thing in itself. I missed it last year. I'm so glad we made it this year. And like I said before, I think they can make a run, or at least win a couple games. But we shall see.
And for selfish reasons, Raj, that means at least one more week of Baltimore Ravens post game on the Flex Zone Podcast YouTube channel. So there'll be
Exactly.
bonus
Content.
episodes, more content. And they do have the franchise tag, which I think will be used for Lamar. That's just my opinion, but we'll talk about that this off season. Endless content coming your way. Dre, how you feeling, brother? I know you're always with rolling with your hometown team. You're the dean, the professor, ball so hard. I said in the post game, if they can avoid Buffalo, Kansas City, they can beat probably any other team. And the Chargers are red hot too.
Well, shout out to our good friend Engraven, who helped us this year. Another sports moment helped the Flex Zone podcast get to 1,000. So, gentlemen, shout out to y'all. Um, I remember Engraven saying that they can't franchise Lamar Jackson, and if the Ravens today were to make the playoffs, they would be facing the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Thanks, Mark.
Which I think that I think that Baltimore can beat Jacksonville. Honestly, they can if this team what they've shown us, even in the 5 losses, with Lamar Jackson and no weapons outside of Mark Andrews, they have been able to, and with Justin Tucker, of course, they have been able to really make a be competitive with every team. They lost to, of course, the Dolphins. They've lost to the Bills. They've lost to the Jaguars, and these have been all games that have been winnable games. So if the Ravens go back to the playoffs, I think that they can make a deep run. I've been saying all year, and I'm gonna still stand by it. They can at least make it to the AFC Championship game. Of course, I would love to see them in the Super Bowl, but at least to the AFC Championship game, I believe that this team can do it. Of course, that Lamar Jackson and that contract has just been hovering over his head. I think that they can come to an agreement. I would hate to see them franchise them because you don't want the whole Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins situation all over again. But they need to come to some sort of an agreement and get him some help at the wide receiver position. Um, do what other teams have done, whether it's um, through the draft, and then also I think in addition to the draft, Raj, I think that they need to go out and make a big trade. I
Oh,
think
I
that they
agree with you.
I think that they need to show not only Lamar Jackson, but like you said, the media attention that this team has had. It was one thing for them to be questioned about Lamar Jackson and his contract, but now this team is, like you said, they've been getting crucified just for not getting this man any help. I mean, everybody's like, "Geez, can you at least get this man some help?" You know.
I mean, if
Uh,
you notice, well, I'm pretty sure you noticed, but I put a couple shorts up.
mhm.
Stephen A. Smith saying, maybe maybe he should move on from the Ravens.
Yeah.
Bart Scott,
Oh
a
boy.
former Baltimore Raven, saying, maybe he should move. I mean, there's a lot of people that are saying maybe he should move on, and I don't agree with that. I just think that the organization themselves is being stubborn. They're stuck in their ways. But hopefully, I'm praying this off season they figure out, some growth. Greg Roman is gone. John Harbaugh gets out of his own way and starts listening to his players. Because I don't know what else you got to do when you have your, Tyus Bowser on Instagram, filming, little papers on the ground that says fire Greg Roman. I mean, that's the most ridiculous thing ever. And it's the silly things. It's the little goofy stuff that's going on.
The silly things.
Yeah, it's the silly things. I mean,
Lamar going back and forth with people on Twitter.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's so uncalled for. He's going back and forth with the fans. The fans is like,
He's not
well, maybe
himself. He doesn't look like himself on the sideline. He's pouting. He's fussing. He's
right.
cussing people out. He's not
Exactly.
happy and smiling.
Not happy or smiling. Like 3 years ago when he won the MVP, that's all he was doing was smiling and cheesing and had them
He's pressing.
sunglasses on.
He's pressing.
Yeah, he's pressing, man. And yeah, I can't wait till this the whole thing is over with.
Yeah, they gotta get that cloud and distraction, and it is so un-Raven like to have a distraction of this magnitude hang over their heads. Like I said, they need to make well, hopefully they can get a huge push in the playoffs. But this off season, they need to focus on getting Lamar a contract and getting him some help at the wide receiver position. They already got Andrews locked in. Let's go ahead and get these wide receivers, and hopefully we can make a huge playoff push. At least, like I said, at least to the AFC Championship game. It would be great if this team could win the Super Bowl. This team is talented enough to win the Super Bowl this year, because, like I said, they've hung in there with a team like the Buffalo Bills. They've hung in there with a team like the Jaguars, and they should have won that game. They should have beaten the Dolphins, and they've already beaten the Bengals. I know that some people said that might have been the Bengals early, and if the Ravens do face the Bengals, look, they've already clinched their playoff berth. So right now the Ravens are just. I think the Ravens honestly would be fine, even if they lost their next two games. I don't. I think in the next two games they're going to go 1-1. I think they'll beat Pittsburgh. I'm going to say that early, and I think they'll lose to the Bengals early. It depends also though on how the seeding is locked. If the seeding is locked in a certain way, then they may be able to win those last two games. Um, and it's kind of sucks because you hate for Mike Tomlin to have a losing record. I'm just saying it not only I know he's a Steelers, but as a black head coach, you just don't want to see that streak happen. But nevertheless, though,
At least his job is secure. At least he won't get fired.
Yeah.
Oh no, he ain't going. He shouldn't get fired.
But they do need to. I know he's won an MVP. Lamar's won an MVP under Greg Roman, but they need a different offensive scheme in there because he can throw the football, and he's shown people that yes, help if we can expand things offensively, stop being stubborn. That this team can really make some noise. So I'm curious to see what they do, and hopefully Lamar does come back for the playoffs.
Real quick, I said this on the post game show to Roger, and I'll let you chime in before I get to Commanders as well. If I'm Steve Bisciotti, if I'm Eric DeCosta, if I'm John Harbaugh, you guys haven't talked about it all season, but it's hanging over your head. Before you guys go to the playoffs, I'm locking myself in a room with Lamar. We're sitting down. We're talking like men. We're going to say, look, we know we haven't gotten you the contract or the help you deserve, but we're in the playoffs. You go win us a Super Bowl, we'll pay you whatever you want. We did it with Joe Flacco. We'll do it with you. You go win us a Super Bowl or make that deep playoff run, we'll give you whatever you want, and you'll be a happy man. Simple as that. Don't avoid it. It's the elephant in the room. They gotta talk about it at some point. It's going on the link.
I agree. It's like you said. I mean, like you said, he's just not the same Lamar from the past. And if your quarterback isn't right, then it affects the whole team.
You got to get his mother in there with him, his boys, whomever his support system is, because he doesn't have an agent.
Not his goons.
His
goons being there like this.
And I would say this, man. I'm like, if you just go out there, you be the Lamar Jackson that we know and love. Even if you don't win the Super Bowl, we still would love to have you. You got to baby him. You got to coddle him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Rub his back, kiss up to him, suck up, do something. I mean, you can take him behind closed doors, feed him a nice steak dinner, from Jimmy Seafood or whatever. Give him a couple Burger King coupons from and Chick-fil-A. You know that Chick-fil-A is but you know what I'm saying, guys. You just gotta rub it down, baby. Come on.
Hey, yo, are y'all trying to get Lamar Jackson or y'all trying to get me? Which one is it?
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, hey, look, Chick-fil-A get anybody. I don't care if you vegan. Chick-fil-A will still get
you said coupons.
That's when you have a cheat day and you detox the next day.
Exactly, bro.
But yes, I think they need to all sit down like men, talk about the elephant in the room, get Greg Roman ass in there too. Hey, look, we got the most electrifying quarterback. We're running the football ever. Let this man do something creative with his legs. Don't have him just stand back there like a statue all the time, man. Use your creativity, man. Feed Greg Roman all the burgers he needs, right?
No. He don't need no damn burgers. That's the problem now. That's why we get the leg.
That's the problem now.
He got
look. You know what the funny thing is? Man? When they show him, he got the little water in the picture screen, but on the other side of it, you don't see it on camera. There's a damn cheeseburger, French fries, and all kinds of things that's on the camera.
What are you trying to say? He got the itis during the game?
It looks like it half the damn time. You gotta call timeouts to stop the delay of games. You at home. Come on, man. Stop it.
But they need to really sit down, man. They locked up the playoff berth. Take these next 3 weeks and really get the house in order and get on the same page because, like Dre said, Rod said, Cravant, I think you would agree. I even said it. This is a wide open field, man. Anybody can beat anybody. We know that in the NFL already. But this year especially, and like you said, Dre, they haven't got blown out this year. All their losses have been within one score or so. So they haven't got blown out, even with no offensive weapons at the wide receiver position. This is crazy to think about. Cravante, you got anything to chime in real quick before we get to your team?
I think franchising Lamar Jackson would be the worst thing the Ravens could do.
I agree. Please don't.
At that point, you might as well have him walk because you know who's gonna get paid by the time next year roll around? Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Justin Herbert probably pay him early.
And Lamar Jackson from somebody else.
And Lamar, and it'll end up being Lamar Jackson from somewhere else. Because listen, the longer you hold on, whatever stubborn attitude y'all in, the more expensive he's gonna be. Because the worst thing you could do, that's what happens. The Deshaun Watson thing popped up. You should have been signed Lamar. You waited for something goofy to happen, and now it's up. And it's up and it's stuck now. Because he ain't coming off of it. So that's why it's always better, in my opinion, to wrap. If you feel like that's your guy, that's your franchise guy, you wrap him up at the earliest possible convenience.
Kyler Murray.
Patrick Mahomes wasn't even close to his contract, and they had a whole year in between. Nah, bro, 10 years, bro. We need 10. It wasn't in a 5 years. We need 10.
I mean,
Josh Allen.
Things we could think of.
Wrap it up. Wrap that mess up. ASAP early.
Look, and I'll give y'all another name that's going to get locked up soon. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Ooh, snap. Because this was a proven year. Because this was a proven year for him, and he's playing like an MVP.
Hurts is only a second-round pick. He only has a 4-year deal, not a fifth, like these first-round guys, Herbert and Burrow. So he probably will have to get paid this season because this is year 3. They don't want to take him into his final year. And if he goes where Philly might go, Super Bowl, he's probably going to get paid as well. We know Howie Roseman pays people.
Yeah, he's not going to allow him to leave.
No,
you better not. You better not.
So I don't get me wrong. I like Steve. I like Steve Ashadi as an owner. I'm glad he doesn't meddle in the affairs. But I think this is one where you got to be like, look, I understand you don't want to give him a fully guaranteed contract. I understand that. I get it. And I wish you wouldn't have said that out loud in front of everybody. I wish you would have kept that to yourself. But you might have to budge on that, brother, or at least you put a little bit more change in the collection plate when it comes to your quarterback, who's led you to the playoffs 4 out of 5 times that he's been here. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, another thing.
It should have been all 5 times if he didn't get hurt last year.
About to say it would have been 5 if he didn't get hurt. I think that they, like you said, they just need to legit talk it out, and then, like you said, either you guarantee at least 80% of it, and then the other percent put in incentives. It depends on how. That's why it's negotiations. You can work the stuff out, but it's just a matter of, do the Ravens want to really work it out? Because nobody in Baltimore wants to see him gone. And then we've never had a quarterback that caliber here in Baltimore. Like, we just fell into Lamar Jackson. But Lamar Jackson's ain't walking through that building. I mean, I can go through the list of quarterbacks before we get to you, Cravante, for the Washington Commanders. I mean, we've had quarterbacks like Gerbag, Steve McNair at the end of his career. We've had Joe Flacco. I mean, Joe Flacco won us a Super Bowl, but
I love Joe. Joe was phenomenal.
But a lot of us weren't even sold on Joe. So it was kind of like,
I was sold on Joe.
So
first time I seen him, I ain't gonna hold you. The first time I saw him, that first game of the season against the Cincinnati Bengals, I was like, "Oh, we got something right here. We got something."
Tony Banks, Chris Redmond,
yeah.
Anthony Wright.
Yeah, now, I mean, right. And honestly,
Cordell Stewart.
Before Lamar, Joe was that guy, but then
Vinny
even Joe
Testaverde.
started. But Joe started. Ooh, you took it back. But
Oh, Jim
Joe,
Harbaugh.
but Joe was towards that tail end, and then Lamar came in. I mean, you can't make that up because if it wasn't for Lamar, man, this org, man, we'd be
Ravens
in
be at
some
the
hot
top of
water,
the
man.
draft for the last 3-4 years.
Yeah, without Lamar, let Lamar Jackson walk out that door and see where the Ravens are. You can be nice on offense. I mean, I'm sorry, you can be nice on defense, be decent on special teams, but if you can't in today's NFL, if you don't have that quarterback, man, we've seen so many franchises that are decent, and if they just don't have the quarterback position locked up, you ain't going nowhere.
Ain't that right, Mark?
What's cap, Mark? What's
I
cap,
say
brother?
he said you. I guess you believe in Joe.
No. I'm serious. That wasn't cap
No,
at all. I
Rogers
made that
Joe's
serious.
biggest fan. He
I
was
was
it was
sold.
Joe's
I
No,
was
biggest
no,
fan.
sold
no,
on
no.
him.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That is a fact.